Hello, hello, everyone. Sarah Glenn here. I am so excited for what I am about to share with you. I've got an expert advisor who is not only one of the best humans I know, but she's also one of my very best friends, Joni Newfrock. She's here to share with us why strength training is so vital to overall body wellness and well being. So, Joni has over 1,000 hours of teaching, training. She's ACE certified as a personal trainer. She's got over 20 years of the fitness and wellness industry, and I cannot wait to hear all of the fantastic information that she's going to share with us today. So, please help me welcome Miss Joni Newfrock.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and kind of share all of this information with your crew that I've been kind of collecting over the last few years.
I'm so excited. Thank you for saying yes.
Oh, of course, of course. I'm a regular human like you and like all of the people that you're kind of collecting into your community. And what that means is that I don't have unlimited resources, unlimited time to focus on eating on a scientific plan and a personal trainer that can be with me at every moment of my life and coaches with me can be all my life. I'm a mom, I own a business, and I have some side hustles as well. And what that means is that we only have a certain amount of time and a certain amount of bandwidth in the day. And having kind of over this 20 years of experience in the health and wellness industry, like you and like so many people that are probably tuning in right now, I have tried everything, right? I've done spin, HIIT, boot camp, juice cleanses, intermittent fasting, keto, low carb, right? And none of these things, none of these practices really seemed to work for me to meet my kind of physical and my health. And so kind of since the pandemic started, when everything shut down and we really had to be in our houses, that gave me the opportunity to research science-based evidence, tried and true practices when we can get back out there, which we are, of course, now, what I can do to start to make the changes in my life that are going to help me meet my goals. You know, all of those years of kind of throwing these ideas against the wall about I'm going to pick up running and I'm going to intermittent fast. What that started to do is confuse my body, confuse my mind, and make me feel like I could never get to the place that I wanted to be, right? And all of the conflicting information out there creates confusion, which either makes us try everything or try nothing. And day after day, week after week, month after month, not getting the results, not seeing the changes that I wanted to, it made me feel like I was failing. And I know we've all heard failure is a step on the path to success, right? When we know something doesn't work, we have to try something new. And so the research that I started to gather and the practices that I now work with my clients and that I spread to anybody that will possibly listen is the importance of strength training. And I know you and I, Sarah, have talked about this at depth. It's something I'm incredibly passionate about. And just briefly, I want to kind of break down what happens in the body with strength training as opposed to kind of more cardiovascular type exercises. So with cardiovascular exercises, it is a stress on the body, and all exercise is a form of stress on the body. There is kind of more beneficial and less beneficial stress. But when you're doing cardio, you are only burning calories in that window that you're in that kind of cardiovascular, kind of rate. So if you are running for 20 minutes, you're burning calories during that 20 minutes, right? And when you are done with your exercise, your body is kind of done burning calories. Now, with strength training, with your Apple Watch, whatever metric that you use to kind of be like, oh, that was a good workout, what it's not going to show you with strength training is, as your strength training or resistance training, kind of apples to apples as far as words go, you might not see that really increased heart rate, right? Sometimes you will, depending on the exercise that you're doing. However, the benefit is that as your body is at rest, when you put those weights away, you go on with your activities of the day, you even go to bed at night, right? Your body is continuing to burn calories to build that muscle on your body, right? Every time you pick up a dumbbell and you get that kind of swell, that stiffness, that is blood entering into your muscles, right? That rush of blood is going to swell your muscles. And then the tiny fibers of your muscles are going to start to break just a little bit, right? That's the controlled stress on the body. Now, what you're signaling to your body is to build stronger muscles. So that soreness that you'll feel that next day, that kind of delayed onset muscle syndrome, okay? What's happening is that your nervous system is building more muscles because it thinks that you now want to lift heavier things, which you do. So the benefit of that also is that the more muscle that you have on your body, okay, your metabolic rate, your base metabolic rate increases. And what I mean by that is your base metabolic rate is, say you sat on the couch all day, did nothing, okay? Your body is going to burn a specific number of calories just to keep your heart pumping, to keep your organs functioning, your digestion, and your brain moving. That base metabolic rate is going to be different for almost all of us, okay? Now, the more muscle that you have on your body, your base metabolic rate, which means that resting number of calories that you can intake without gaining weight or losing weight, is going to increase because your muscles need a constant blood supply. They need to constantly be fueled, okay? So that's how we start to increase our metabolism. It is a myth that as you age, your metabolism slowers, okay? That's not true. It's not just getting higher age-wise that makes it slow down. What happens is that we tend to move less. We stay fixed at our desks all day. We're tired a lot. We don't move around like we did when we were in our teens or even kind of in our younger years. When we're not moving, okay, we're not using our body is going to start to remove muscle from our body because, like I said, it's hard, it's challenging for your body to keep muscle. And so that principle of if you don't use it, you lose it, kicks right in. If you're not using your muscles on a regular basis, your nervous system is saying, we don't need this, it's a waste of energy, let's start to break this down. Okay, so this can be reversed at almost any stage for almost all of us. There are probably specific cases that it doesn't, but I don't think that applies to the general population here. Okay. Also, just going back to the cardio, and I'm not saying cardio is bad, but it should not be the main focus of your exercise plan. Think of it as like the plate that you have, a lot of protein on it. You want to have just like sides of cardio, right? Like a little side of cottage cheese. That's the amount of cardio that you want. Okay? Because what cardio does is because you're in that elevated heart rate of like 170 to 190, so your Apple Watch will tell you, because that is a lot of stress on the body, and your body is going to start to focus on breaking down your muscles to start to fuel or repair the stress that you're doing on your cardiorespiratory system. So I'll repeat that simply. When you focus on cardio and do a lot of cardio, you are telling your nervous system to slowly start to break down muscle. So that breaking down of muscle is going to lower your metabolic rates, right? That muscle that helps burn calories around the clock. So I recommend doing strength building exercises, which I'll show you shortly. And when I say strength building and resistance, I'm not saying use the 3-pound weights that they have in the crates at the gym. Pick up something that looks a little bit more like steel. And I also have some kind of other alternatives if you don't have room for a home gym, the money for a home gym, or the time to kind of go to a gym. There's lots of reasons why we can't have a home gym, but there's also lots of ways that we can make it accessible and bring it in. So, and aside from the metabolic rate and strength training, okay, strength training is known to build bone density. So what we're doing is we're starting to age-proof our bodies as we strength training. We're avoiding osteoporosis. Having muscle and muscle tone gives your body a look of lift. So rather than having kind of, as we age, that kind of sagging skin that doesn't have muscle in it, that tone lifts your chest, right? It's like a little boob lift. Assuming you're all females, but you're probably not out there. It helps give your butt that little bit of lift, right? It keeps a nice shape and nice contour on the body. Also, to build muscle, your body has to use insulin. The excess insulin that you have from, say, eating simple carbohydrates, anything from fruits to kind of white flour to the sugar that we all do have, your body uses that insulin as well as proteins to create muscle. So just a brief talk about diet here, and Sarah, of course, is your kind of go-to on this. Do not avoid carbohydrates when strength training. Okay? Carbohydrates are a form of fuel, right? Energy. Protein is the building block of muscle, but carbohydrates and good fats, or fat also, is a form of fuel. Removing fat, removing carbohydrates from your body is like trying to put water in the gas tank of your car and asking your car to move, right? It's not going to go anywhere. So having a balanced diet with your macronutrients of fat, protein, and carbohydrates, okay? You need that fuel to have the energy, to have the get up and go, to get on your mat, to pull out those weights, or to go into the gym or go for a walk. But then you also need to have that endurance of energy throughout the day. Otherwise, we wind up crashing, going through those peaks and valleys of energy that leave us craving certain foods, and they're never the healthy foods or the foods that are most for our body, I'll say. But also that kind of makes us grab at coffee or at diet sodas, which give us that illusion of having energy. But what those can eventually do is start to imbalance our hormones. And I like to kind of think of it as a false sense of energy. And don't get me wrong, I love my coffee, 2 cups espresso every morning, just for that get up and go. But I always follow that with my yogurt, my oats, and my berries. That is my fuel that I'm going to then take into the gym. So any questions with nutrition, drop a line in the comments to Sarah. She and I can kind of help you, guide you on the right track. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of hop behind me here and show you some exercises that you can do starting today at home during this 3-day movement challenge. Everything's super accessible. So I'm just going to step behind me, excuse me, and I'll show you some great things.
Okay, you guys, I'm going to give Joni the floor, and I'm going to be taking notes.
Okay, so if you're a note taker as well, you can always grab like a pencil and a piece of paper, because I'm going to talk about a little bit about form, but also about kind of the amount of sets that we'll do, how many times we're going to do a certain exercise, and then how many repetitions, right, we're going to do, because that's all important on talking to our nervous system about how we want to build muscle. So what we always want to do before we kind of move our joints, right, our knees, hips, shoulders, etc., we want to warm up the body. So I warm up pretty simply. I'll do about 10 sets of cat and cows just to get my spine nice and pliable, to stretch the front of my body, to stretch the back of my body. And I always do that kind of with the rhythm of my breath. So I'm also kind of priming my cardiovascular system, getting my heart pumping and getting my lungs moving. So I'm not going to show you that because most of us know cats and cows. If you have any questions, need a demonstration, just kind of leave a note in the comments and we'll get right back to you. What we're going to do is we're going to do a plank. And I'm going to show you two different forms of plank. The first is going to be kind of the fuller version with knees up. And when I say plank, either way you can do with straight arms or with elbows. I'm a low plank kind of girl. I like what it does to my shoulders, but you can also go with straight arms. So as you come down, clasp your hands together, align your elbows right underneath your shoulders, and your heart's going to be placed, or your sternum, your breastbone is going to be placed right in between your elbows. Extend your legs straight back. And I want you to think about trying to push or extend your body beyond, like towards the walls of your room. So as I'm hooked here on my toes, I'm pressing my heels back. That's extending my legs and squeezing the muscles of my legs. And then rather than a heavy head, which is going to give you neck pain eventually, I'm going to push the very crown of my head forward. As I do that, my elbows are pushing down really firmly, and I'm taking my rib cage and my low belly and I'm pulling it up. That doesn't mean piking your hips up. It just means bracing the front of your body towards the back of the body. And here already, and I do this every day, my abs, my body is in this nice vibrational move. Like I can feel those muscles working. Squeeze your butt, right? Squeeze your glutes. And you're going to hold this just until about failure. And that's going to be a different amount of time for all of us. I'll hold it for 3 minutes sometimes, 2 minutes sometimes. But you're going to keep stretching nice and long and resisting your ribs from coming down towards the floor. Push down to pull up and in, okay? If you need a regression, which means you're building strength, and it's really hard for you not to get that hip lifted and your belly dropping, that arch into your spine, you're going to drop your knees down, still keep your toes tucked under here. Even though those knees are dropped down, okay, we're going to call this half plank. You're going to press your elbows down and then drag your elbows and knees towards each other, right? So you're not moving, you're just creating that dragging action. The back of my neck is still long with the crown of my head. I'm pulling those lowest ribs, those lowest front ribs up. So even here, as I pull those ribs up and push down, my core is firing right up. And here with this regressed version of plank, you're still going to hold that to just about failure. And what I mean is until failure is when you start to feel that form break, your chest come down towards the ground, your ribs come down to the ground, you get that arch in your back, your head hang heavy, then you come down, then you relax, right? We don't want to exercise with bad form. We want to maintain the strongest form that we can as long as we can. After that, always take a sip of water in between exercises or in between sets. If plank is a relatively fun exercise for you, or you feel strong at it, do it 2 or 3 times, right? And what it's just doing is it's creating this blueprint or kind of priming your core to brace inward. And that bracing, we're going to take through all of our exercises that we do. This round of exercises should only take about 20 to 25 minutes. So if you're really busy, you can sneak this right into your day. If the idea of working out for 45 minutes at this point in your life seems dreadful, cut that in half. You can do it for 20 to 25 minutes, right? Just start to push yourself in the right direction. All right, after you've done that plank, your cats and cows, we're gonna do a body weight squat. This is also known as an air squat, right? So all of these exercises that we're focusing on today are just gonna be body weight exercises. Before we start to put a lot of weight or even just a moderate amount of weight on your body, we wanna make sure that our form is strong and that we're avoiding injury as we go through these different movements. So with your body weight squat, you're gonna rotate your hips open or outward. So easy bend your knees. Your knees are gonna align right with the middle of your toes. And my heels are about shoulders distance apart. And this is gonna give me a nice strong base of support. I'm gonna turn on the side so you can see the angles of my body here, but I'm gonna align my feet just the same. Now, your feet on the ground, I want you to push your heels down. As you push your heels down, you're gonna feel the back of your body, your hamstrings, your glutes, fire right up. You wanna take that with you. Find that same kind of bracing inward through the core like you did with that plank. So that's where that blueprint comes in. I'll hold my hands, kind of clasp them together right at my heart, but hug my shoulder blades together. Like that plank, as I'm pushing through the heels, the crown of my head is always reaching up towards the ceiling, like I'm trying to take my spine and stretch it even longer. I wanna maintain that because that's gonna keep a nice neutral spine surrounded by the strength of your core muscles. As you push into the feet, push your big toes down as well. You're going to lower down to your range of motion. We're not going to bend forward. We're going to keep that spine neutral. So my tailbone and head are at the same angle as they were when I was standing. Push through the heels, stand up, squeeze your legs. So down and up, down and up, okay? You're going to do this about 12 times. I'm showing you today supersets or circuits. And that means after you do your 12 squats, we're going to go into a different body part while the legs are resting, and then we're going to come back into that squat. So after you do that squat, you're going to come onto the ground, and we're going to do some upper back work. As you strength train, we want to focus on hitting the biggest muscles in the body. Those big muscles create kind of quality of life, feeling good, right? The glutes, the legs, the hamstrings, strength around there are going to help support your spine, but also building those really big muscles. Those are the calorie tortures right there, the fat tortures. So as we come down all the way onto the front of our body, you're going to tuck your chin in and let the top of the forehead come down onto the ground. Separate your feet again about shoulders distance apart and create that little bit of scoop tuck. So you're going to take your tailbone and point it down towards the ground. That's going to tighten the glutes, and it's going to pull the low belly up and in. This is going to prohibit the low back from lifting the tailbone and creating lower back tension. Okay, option here, this is going to be just an arm raise. So the head, everything's going to stay down but the arms. Option to come out in a letter T or like an overhead letter V or Y. The Y might be more challenging, the T might be more accessible, but they're kind of interchangeable. Palms are going to stay flat facing the ground the whole time, regardless of what position. Head's going to stay down. You're going to lift your arms up and hold. So you're going to feel those back shoulder muscles kick right in. We're not going to rotate thumbs down or pinkies down. The whole palm faces right down. Lift and hold, and then lower. Lift and hold. Push your forehead into the floor as you lift up and lower. And you're going to do that 10 times. Come right back up. Find your squat position, 12 more squats. So that first superset, right? The prone arm lifts and the squat, you're going to do 3 circuits of that from about 10 to 12 reps each exercise. Option here, if you have these tools at the house, you can either 1 dumbbell or 2 dumbbells with your squat, your body weight squat, add a little bit of weight to it. So I like to bring it right up towards my shoulders, down and up. Squeeze those legs every time you come up. And then same thing with that prone weight, the prone arm raise, excuse me. If you have a lighter weight, these are 3, they get pretty heavy. So even a 2 and a 1 is just fine here. This is when we pull out those pink weights, is lay on your back, light weights in the hands, lift those weights up and hold. You're gonna feel that kind of V-shaped torso getting nice and warm. Okay, after you run through that 3 times with those 10 to 12 reps, we're going to come into some lunges. You have the option to do a forward stepping lunge or a backward stepping lunge. The difference is, okay, when you step forward into your lunge, the pressure here is going to be on your quadricep. The knee comes forward, so it's going to build those quads a little bit more. As you step back, you're going to push off that big toe. Right? So this is more of a quadricep lunge to work the hamstrings and the glutes. As you step back, pushing through that front leg heel, you're going to feel the glute and the hammy come in, push through that heel as you stand up. So just options. I always tend to favor working the back of the body, bigger muscles, the hamstring and glutes. Strengthening these muscles really help release low back tension and align the spine. And almost every human that I know can benefit from back body work. So many things that we do are forward and down. Getting that lift in the back of the body just creates a really tall kind of energetic posture. So with these lunges, there's different options that you can have just depending on where you are kind of in your fitness journey. So here I have a bar, but you could also use a chair, even your counter or a railing. And then option 2, step forward, right? Using that to support you. Slower is always better. Slower helps create better form, and it also helps create that resistance in the body moving through gravity, okay? Stepping forward or stepping back, of course. And then another option, if the stepping forward kind of makes your knees a little bit wobbly, then what you'll do is you'll come into what's called a split squat. It's another name for a lunge. Feet are hips width distance here. Using your handrail if you need, just down and up, down and up. So if you tend to have compromised ankles, knees, or hip, this is a great option to help build that strength in the lower chain, in the leg. Have a prop to help you with stability, and then you can start to progress from there. Reps and sets with this. Do 12 with the right leg, 12 with the left leg, and then go through that 3 times. If 12 feels like a lot, go 8 to 10. Don't think that you always have to hit this big number. Give yourself a goal that you can attain. As I say that, your mind will talk you out of 12. You can always do one more as long as your form is good. That's the most important thing. So don't let your mind say, oh my gosh, this is awful, this is hard. Let yourself know how strong you are. Okay. Third sets of exercises right here. We're gonna go into a push-up, and I'm just gonna show you on your knees because we can still, just like that plank, make that regressed version super hard. If you wanna do knees up, you go ahead and do knees up. Our blueprint is pretty much exactly like a long arm plank. So hands will be shoulders distance apart, index fingers forward with the knees behind the hips. So here I'm still kind of, my body's about a 35-degree angle. As you push through the hands, rather than hips up that arch in the back, you're gonna pull those lowest ribs up. So you're gonna feel that strong athletic brace in the core the whole time. Never let your head hang heavy. You wanna look slightly forward and think about pushing through the crown of the head, toes hooked or unhooked, really your choice here. Elbows are gonna bend backward at a slight angle. So we're not going out to the side, right? We're going back at about a 45-degree angle. You're gonna stay pushing through the L that the thumb and the forefinger make the whole time. As you lower, as you lift, those lowest ribs are pulling up and in. We're gonna do that in superset with a hip bridge. So I have an elevated box here. I like more range of motion. So option, heels down, toes up to be right on the floor. Press your hands down, hug your shoulder blades together so you feel your collarbones broaden, tuck your chin, and pull your throat right down towards the floor. Push through the center of your heels. So find that with your mind, and then lift up, driving the knees forward. You're gonna feel the hamstrings and the glutes, those big muscles, lift your hips, and then lower down. If you have a box like this, a coffee table, it might be a little high, a stool, or I'll even sometimes use the first stair to my staircase. I'll put my mat right up against that. Same principle here, you just get more range of motion, hands down, shoulder blades together, drive through the center of the heels, lift, squeeze, feel that squeeze, and then lower with control, right? So lift and squeeze. Drive the heels down as you lift your hips up. So energy in both directions, push to lift, push to lift. We never let the hips drop down. We lower our body through space with control. After those 12 bridges, right back to your push-ups, that 10 to 12 range, back to the hip bridges, run through that 3 times. And then just as our finisher, we're gonna do a nice kind of chest opener. I say nice, we're gonna do a challenging chest opener. And we're gonna do, it's called a reverse tabletop. So this is just gonna use that posterior chain, the back of your body, to lift the front of the body up. And this is a hold, just like a plank. This is also a variation of reverse plank. So I like to position my thumbs facing forward with my fingertips out and hug my shoulder blades together. Press into the whole foot here, heels, all of your toes. And then you're gonna lift up, driving your knees forward. You can look forward, you can look up. I don't favor looking back, but everything that's touching the ground, you are gonna push it down to lift the front of the body up here. Shoulder blades together, knees reaching forward so you feel that fire up your glutes a little bit more. And we're gonna do this for about 30 to 40 seconds or till failure if you kind of really can hold that good form. This is a challenging exercise. So even if you kind of lift up into it 10 seconds 3 times, that's totally fine. Holding and then lowering down nice and slowly. So running through that should be less than 30 minutes. Just ways to kind of, if you're already have a kind of a steady exercise program that you're working on or building, or if you have a good amount of strength already, the lunges, you can add weights to those. My favorite equipment for a traveling gym or a home gym are these super bands. So they're about 3 foot, a circle, and they come in different widths. This is a 1/4 inch. This one is 1 inch. This is a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. You can usually buy them in a bundle on Amazon with a 1/4 inch. And the thicker the band, the more resistance, right? So when I'm using this fully, it has about 45 pounds of pressure, meaning it's the equivalent about 45 pounds of weight or dumbbell, okay? 1/4 inch, usually about 20, so this is gonna fall in between. So great option here to put that resistance on. And a set of these will probably cost you around $20. So you can do just hundreds of exercises with these, use them in so many different ways. They'll often come with manuals, or you can just do a Google search exercises or YouTube search exercises with the super bands. They're also called mini bands or infinity bands. But with that squat, kind of holding it right up at the shoulders, positioning your feet in the same way, down, and then you're gonna feel that resistance wanna stop you or slow you down from standing up. Using the thicker one, obviously gonna be more challenging. Same thing with your lunge, is putting it right underneath your heel, kind of pulling your elbows up and then pushing off that heel, gonna put more work on your glutes. Also great for upper body exercises. So you can hit some bicep curls, you can hit some rows right here. So these are my favorite pieces of equipment to have in my house if I can't get to the gym and I want to sneak in an exercise, or I always pack them in my suitcase when I'm traveling. So I never really give myself a reason of why I can't exercise unless I'm taking a day off. So if you have questions about form, technique, drop a line in the comments. If you want to see a deeper demonstration of any of these exercises, same thing, drop a line in the comments. Sarah and I will get back to you. So I hope I've given you some really great information to start to fuel you on me. Thanks so much for tuning in, and peace, love, and strength training.
Oh my goodness, that was so much amazing information. I took like 3 pages of notes. I can't wait to get into the gym so I can do some of these exercises. And I'm kind of thinking maybe like the super band workout is in our future. Like, let's hop on again soon and
I'd love to.
Oh yeah, because the variety that you can do with one piece of equipment, it really, really removes a lot of the excuses on, not being able to get something done that
it makes it accessible. And it's just a rubber band. Like, it's the simplest equipment that can do, it's just infinite possibilities.
Yeah. Well, I love it. Whenever you can find something that has a multi-purpose and it's not super expensive and it's going to help you get the results you want. Oh my gosh, Joni, I'm so, so grateful that you were able to share with us today. I always love having conversations with you. If only we could see each other in person more often.
I know.
You guys, I hope that you appreciated and enjoyed all of this fantastic information. Like Joni said, drop any and every question or comment you have, and we will get back to you. And this is not the last that you'll see of Miss Joni Newfrock, because there is just so much fantastic information to share with you. And until next time, you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll talk soon.